1, 2, 3.
A central tenet of PHBM's strategy was that the project should be fully integrated. This meant ensuring there was a strong physical and social infrastructure that was maintained by the beneficiaries themselves. As with many rural societies, that of the deep south of Madagascar is one steeped in tradition and poverty. Furthermore, this once prosperous area had become completely isolated since the country gained its independence in 1960.
Actuellement, la phase 2 du projet est devenue un projet de développement rural intégré qui embrasse beaucoup de domaines de développement rural.
One of the key challenges of PHBM was that the project had to address both the isolation and the deep-rooted tradition for it to work. The economy had to be monetised, for example. A more modern approach to health and nutrition was needed. And community-based bodies needed strengthening too, to ensure well-structured village-level cooperation. The question was, how could the project instigate such change? The answer was in both construction and education, in as many forms as possible. And the key to sustaining the development was to create an environment in which local people themselves were leading the change in their own communities. PHBM's approach began with sensitisation, which meant going to the communities to explain face-to-face what needed to change and why. Then, PHBM identified local NGOs and organisations that were best placed to carry out this specialised work. These then provided the social facilitators, people who were trusted by villagers throughout the area. Social facilitators such as this man, who is meeting with the Water Users Association. As the social facilitators entered communities and villages, key issues were addressed and demonstrable results could be seen. More than 70% of pregnant women were visited by a doctor. The use of contraception increased by 27%, and many childhood diseases decreased considerably as mothers were taught about the need for vaccinations. Whereas in 1996, only the regional capital had a health centre, by 2002 there were health facilities in 9 out of the 11 communes. Health services were boosted by an improved water supply. In the Mandrare River Basin region in 1996, only 8% of the inhabitants had access to clean drinking water. But by 2002, with 36 water points established, that figure had risen to 34%. Another essential element for improving the standard of living in the project area was education. At the project's start, only a few farmers were able to fill in the requisite forms for funding applications, membership subscriptions and elections. Adult literacy was at such a low level that many farmers were unable to understand the value of the weights and measures of their produce, or of the financial exchanges involved in selling them.
Dans le domaine social, on a alphabétisé plus de 6000 adultes qui portent environ 15% de la population alphabétisée contre seulement 7% en moyenne au début du projet.
Faly raho mahahitanareo zao sady velo fisaoragna amareo ray aman-dreny koa. Fa ty zavatra nianaranay mandeha tsara. Fa afaka manao sonia zahay zao. Fa afaka manoratra nianaranay zahay zao.
For heightened effectiveness, adult literacy lessons would always cover subjects relevant to daily life.
Manaraky zay koa De tiamity fiompena sy ny zavatra rehetra fambolena.
Furthermore, families were also encouraged to send their children to school. By 2006, 13 public schools had been built, and primary school attendance stood at 47%. In addition to social facilitators, a key component of the strategy within PHBM were the specialists. These were chosen from within their community for specialised training by NGOs to meet particularly important needs. This proved to be a cost-effective and sustainable way of providing much-needed social services. Thus, many villages now have someone able to dispense regular vaccinations against childhood diseases, or who know how to advise locals on fire prevention and safety, for example. A key example of successful specialisation training is in the field of veterinary services. From the outset, PHBM attempted to change some fundamental ways in which this society functioned, and to introduce ideas into agriculture, finance and business that had never been practiced before. Other forms of communication were also brought into play. Of most use to an illiterate population were graphic posters displayed in villages and the graphic manuals supplied to water users and other associations. And of course, one of the most successful forms of mass communication in rural society is the radio. 2004 saw the start of an awareness-raising campaign. The local radio transmits programmes across Mandrare from the project headquarters in Siviri. Here, people might discuss the outcomes of a literacy programme in order to encourage people to sign up to classes. Often the station features people who have benefited from the project in order to spread the word at a local level. People are more likely to trust the testimony of people they know. The radio now plays an important part in everyday life here. The PHBM project has not only constructed social centres to improve health and learning, but it has also laid the foundations of a society more able to look to a brighter future.